Hey guys, yeah, I'm here to do an AEW All Out 2022 preview, mainly because I probably won't have the time tomorrow because I'm working 11 to 6. Well, today, by the time you watch it, I'll be working 11 to 6. And tonight's edition of Rampage is basically live. It's basically live. I don't know if it's at the Now Arena. It might be at the Now Arena. I'm not really sure. But the highlight, or at least, the highlight basically of that night, of tonight's Rampage, is the finals. Not only is it the final go-home show to build up to All Out, but it's also the finals on the Rampage portion, if you will, of the bracket for the Trios tournament. And right now, we don't know exactly who that's going to be. Here's the final teams on the Rampage side. You have the Dark Order, which is Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and Hangman Adam Page, who's a kind of like an honorary member. And the opponents are the Best Friends: Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta. And the winners of that will face the winner of the Dynamite bracket, which is, of course, the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So yeah, tonight we'll determine who they face. The Elite, that is, faces at All Out this Sunday. Now, with that said, let's go over this card because there are 14 matches. That's right, 14 matches that have been signed. 3 of them are going to be on the pre-show, thus making it 11 matches on the main show. But on the buy-in show, the pre-show, if you will, you got 3 matches. So let's take a look at those 3 matches on the pre-show right now. The first one is Tomohiro Ishii against Eddie Kingston. Now, originally, Eddie Kingston was supposed to face Sammy Guevara, but because of the backstage incident that led to Kingston's 2-week suspension, the match is now off until, I guess, a later date. And Kingston, he wanted to work with Guevara because nobody else would. Mainly, I think it's because of, I guess, the way Sammy basically, along with Ty, kind of, present themselves on screen and in the back. People feel like, yeah, this guy's trouble. We can't work with him. So yeah, Eddie was the only one to step up and say, hey, I'll work with you. But, that's been called off because of what happened behind the scenes. So instead, he's going to get a notable substitute in Ishii, in which, by the way, they have faced each other before, which was at the New Japan show about a couple months ago in Washington, D.C. So you got that match happening, and I think Kingston's going to go over in this match. I think it's obvious Kingston's got to go over, especially if you want to build him up strong to continue his program with Guevara, if they continue it at all, which I think they should. The second match on the pre-show is Pac defending the AEW All Atlantic Championship against Kip Sabian. Obviously, Pac's got to win this one. Sabian has had this gimmick lately to where he's been covering his head with a box, if you will, until he's ready to reveal it, kind of embrace the change and all that. I don't know if he'll have Penelope Ford at ringside, because if he does, that might, kind of throw things for a loop. Like, maybe they will give it to Kip and everything, but we'll see what happens. It ought to be a good match, though. But Pac, he just won the title. Yes, he has been defending it across the globe, mostly in the UK and all that, which you would be seeing these matches on Dark. So Pac definitely has to get a big win here on basically his first major outing on an actual live AEW event. I think Pac's got to win this, and it's going to be a good match. Then we have Hook against Angelo Parker for the FTW Championship. I think it's obvious this is going to be a quick squash. There's no doubt. I mean, I know there are some people that are thinking, Hook might lose because, hey, it's, Angelo Parker. He's part of the JAS, and hey, they want to push the JAS, so why not give them a championship that, basically is counterculture to what they represent, which is sports entertainment. Why not give them a belt that's counterculture to that, and then maybe do a story to where they make a mockery of something? I know people are thinking along those lines, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Angelo Parker is going to lose, and that's basically continue to prove that even despite the name changes that they go through, that 2.0 Ever-Rise is still just looked at as a comedy jobber tag team, and that's it. Alright, so the match listed right now as possibly being the opener, which it could be, is Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson against Lionheart Chris Jericho. Now, make no mistake about it, this is not the first time they've met. They've met many times in WWE. As a matter of fact, let me look it up. Let me look it up because I know they faced each other before. Yes, they faced each other in the Elimination Chamber in 2013. They faced each other in the inaugural season of NXT, I think. Yeah, they faced each other in the inaugural season of NXT twice. And, they have jawed with each other a lot as well. And, they faced each other. They've faced each other many, many times throughout their run, especially even in tag team. Heck, they even tagged up together in a tag team match on Monday Night Raw against CM Punk and Sheamus in 2012, believe it or not. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, they have faced each other before. This is the first time, and I think quite some time they faced each other, but now it's under different circumstances because it's not Daniel Bryan that Jericho's facing, it's Bryan Danielson, and it's the American Dragon against Lionheart Chris Jericho instead of Y2J. So this match ought to be physical. It ought to be, very technical. And I'm going to go with Danielson to win. I think this is going to... I think All Out, if I'm going to go on a limb here, I think it's going to be the beginning stages, maybe. I think it's going to be the beginning stages of the end of the JAS. That's what I'm thinking. Now, I know people are saying Daniel Garcia could be a wild card in this, and he could, probably, more than likely screw Danielson. But I've always thought about the fact that because it seems too obvious that they would do that. So, in my opinion, I think honestly what's going to happen, and I was thinking about this, I think, Danielson's going to expect it. Like, he knows Garcia is setting him up maybe, so he's going to expect it, and he's going to be ready for it, which is going to lead to him winning, if that's the direction they go. And again, this is going to, either way, whether Garcia doesn't do anything, and he sides with Danielson, naturally goes babyface, or Danielson sees the screw job coming. This, to me, and I think everybody's in agreement with this, All Out's basically the beginning of the end of the JAS, in my opinion. Alright, next match on the card, and I have it right in front of me right now, as well as on screen, but the next match on the card, as you can see right here, is for the Interim Women's Championship. It's Britt Baker, Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida for the Interim Women's Championship, because Thunder Rosa is out with an injury, a legit injury, which is basically a disc in her back or something. I don't know how long that's going to keep her out. This will be a good match no matter how you view it. This is going to be a good match, no matter how you look at it. I know people are suspecting Britt's going to get it because, she's one of Tony Khan's favorites, and, based on how Tony Khan talked about Thunder Rosa in his media call yesterday, people would suspect Britt to walk out, as sort of a slap in the face. But I don't see that happening. I see Toni Storm winning as originally planned. and walking out with the interim championship, thus setting up her and Thunder Rosa down the line to unify the belts as they originally planned to do at All Out. Well, not unify, but have the one-on-one match like they originally planned. Alright. Next up we have House of Black, which is Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews versus Darby, Allin, Sting, and Miro in a 6-man trios tag team match. Despite how you might feel about some of the reports about Malachi and even Miro, I think this might be a match for them to kind of showcase the fact that, hey, we may, basically this is a match to me that's going to allow both of them to showcase to Tony Khan, hey, you need to feature us more and not treat us like jobbers. And oh, please, do not keep telling people how long you have us under contract, because that does infuriate a lot of people. When the boss says, oh, well, this is what they're doing, or this is how long they're under contract, stuff like that. So this ought to be a good match. I'm gonna say that the House of Black wins, because even though it is Sting, and most of the time Sting has been involved in these kind of matches, along with Darby and whoever they're partnered with, they always win. I think this might be the exception. And I'm going to go with Sting. Sting's team losing to the House of Black in this matchup. Next up, we have Jade Cargill defending the TBS Championship against Athena, the former Ember Moon. They've been building to this for a while. I know a lot of people are thinking Athena's going to win here, which she should. Thus, as I predicted a couple of times, this would be the perfect opportunity for it to happen, and thus you take Jade out of the TBS equation and you focus her into the Women's World Title equation, which to me it makes perfect sense. She's dominated for almost a year with that championship. Let her move on to the Women's World Title scene, and let her become champion there, and let her brag about the fact that she is the only woman, as far as we know, the only woman to be the TBS champion and the Women's World Champion. It makes sense for them to do that. And I think there couldn't be any better place for her to drop the title, have her undisputed streak broken, than here. But what's making me kind of waver at the fact that Athena and Ember Moon may not win is the fact that storyline-wise you have Stokely Hathaway, the former Malcolm Bivens in NXT, recruiting a lot of people into a stable. Like, it looks like because it looks like on Wednesday he recruited W. Morrissey into his group. He's looking into other people as well to be part of his group. I mean, he's got Layla Hirsch in there to kind of stand in for Red Velvet, and then Red Velvet comes back in, and then you got Kira Hogan, and then who knows who else he's going to bring in. Like, W. Morrissey's one of them, like I said, and then he's got the Gun Boys. He's got Austin and Colt Gunn under his wing. It looks like he's not only building a stable, but he's also trying to build maybe protection for Jade, because Jade is like the crown jewel. It's like the crown jewel of the group. So I would say that, because of that, it kind of throws, the predictions kind of out the window. I mean, I am going to go with Athena. I am going to go with her and still stick with my original prediction that she beats Jade, and then this loosens Jade up to go for the Women's World Title and make history as being the only woman within a year to be not just the TBS champion, but also be the AEW Women's World Champion, which makes a lot of sense if you're going to make her a main event focal point of your women's division. So I'm still going to stick with that, but again, you see what Stokely's doing on screen and all that, it kind of, it kind of throws things a little out of whack, but I'm still going to stick with Athena winning the match and becoming the new TBS champion, the second woman to hold that title. Then we have Jungle Boy Jack Perry, the son of Luke Perry, taking on Christian Cage. This is going to be a physical, if not very, I'm not going to say violent match, but it's going to be a physical, if not bloody match. These guys are going to go balls to the wall. I'll put it that way. They're going to go balls to the wall. I know people are predicting Christian Cage to win because it basically sets up, sets up a future rematch down the line. But here's where I kind of feel like that's not going to be the case, because knowing how things are right now in AEW and how Tony Khan, he wants to get interest back on the product. He wants to get people's eyes on Dynamite and on Rampage and all that, especially going into the Arthur Ashe Stadium show this month. I can see them saying that Christian's gonna beat Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy is gonna pursue Christian for a rematch. But like I said, the problem I see with that is, knowing how Tony Khan is trying to get things interested and intriguing here, I wouldn't put it past him to allow Christian to maybe add in a portion, something for the storyline that really makes him come off as a heelish prick more so than ever. And that is, the fact that once he beats Jungle Boy, no matter how he does it, that when Jungle Boy demands a rematch, unbeknownst to him, he's going to find out he doesn't get a rematch because Christian beat him, and Christian proved his point that he's a nobody. So I'm just going to go and say that, because I feel that's probably the direction they would go in, just to, get people interested. I mean, people would tune in, be interested in the product to see how Jungle Boy is going to get his rematch, find a way around that loophole, which would be great to see. But I don't think so. I think they've been building this up for too long and everything. And I think Jungle Boy has to get the win here. He's got to get the win here and everything. And then, you move Christian on to something else maybe. Maybe, because people are predicting Luchasaurus to turn against Jungle Boy. I think if you're going to have Christian maybe be on the leaving very soon from AEW, I mean, he's got about 2 years left on his contract or less. I would say have him go from Jungle Boy to Luchasaurus, because he'll blame Luchasaurus for turning his back on him or something like that, and then costing him the match or something. So that could be something that they do. But I'm going to go with Jungle Boy winning this match. Then we have Warlord, and FTR taking on Jay Lethal and Impact Wrestling's Motor City Machine Guns in a 6-man trios match. This is going to be good. This is going to be, I think, a show stealer. And I'm going to go with Wardlow. I'm going to go with Wardlow and FTR winning this match. And I think what's going to happen is Wardlow is going to be the one that pins Jay Lethal by hitting him with the Sympathy of Power Bombs. And I think what may happen as well is you might have a communication between Jay and the MCMGs, because Jay may want him to do something, Sanjay may want him to do something, and they won't do it, and that will cost them the match. So I'm going to go with Wardlow and FTR, the 3/4 of the Pinnacle, winning this match. Then we have the Casino Battle Royal ladder match. The Casino Battle Royal ladder match. Winner receives the Future World Championship match. We have the ROH champion Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta El Zero Miro, Rey Fenix, Rush, and Andre my mind's gone blank and I'm reading it right now. We have Claudio, Wheeler, Penta, Rey, Rush, and Andrade. There we go. Andrade El Idolo and Dante Martin taking on, and a mystery partner, a Joker, facing each other in a casino ladder match. People are predicting that the Joker is going to be Samoa Joe. Some are saying MJF. Could be. But in my honest opinion, I think we just found out who the Joker is going to be. I really do. And I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say that Joker's W. Morrissey. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to go with Morrissey winning. If he's the Joker, I'm going with Morrissey. I'm going with the TBD, TBA participant, which I'm believing is going to be, W. Morrissey winning this match and getting a future world title match down the line. Then we have Swerve in All Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team titles. This will be a good match. I'm going to go with Swerve in All Glory to win, but I do predict, like a lot of people are predicting, that there might be some miscommunication between the two. But, you know, it'll be just a slight crack, if you will, but not enough for, you know, total dissension where they would lose the belts. So I'm going to go with Swerve in All Glory to retain in what will be a good tag team match at All Out. Then we have Ricky Starks against Powerhouse Hobbs. The battle of the former Taz team, the battle of the former Team Taz members. You know, people are saying Powerhouse Hobbs is going to win, which is a good prediction. But I'm going to go with Ricky Starks. I mean, legitimately, if you're going to push Ricky Starks as one of your next big players in AEW, one of your new pillars to help build the company on, I think he's got to win here. He's got to win here. I mean, you can give Powerhouse Hobbs his win back later, but I think Ricky's got to get the first win. He's got to get the first one, thus you can build him up to be a big contender for the AEW World title or the TNT title. So I'm going with Ricky Starks in what I think will be a good matchup between the two. I think these two, believe it or not, this is going to be, to me, this will be the sleeper of the night. Believe it or not, this will be the sleeper in my opinion. So I'm going with Ricky Starks. Then we have the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against potentially either the Best Friends or the Dark Order with Hangman Page. A lot of people are saying Dark Order and Page are going to advance. And if they do, I do agree. It's going to be some interesting storytelling because the Bucks went to Page to try to get him to be the partner. That didn't happen. And then, of course, you have the history between him and Omega coming when it comes to the AEW World title. So, yeah, you know, that happens. It's going to be really interesting. And it will be a toss-up. It will be a toss-up because a lot of people are saying that the only reason these trios titles, these World Trios titles were made was for the Elite. And that they only waited till Kenny came back from injury to, you know, get this match or get this tournament on the way to crown the champions and crown them as the inaugural champions. But if you have the Dark Order in there, and you have, you know, Adam Page as part of it, what an interesting storyline that could be. You know, what an interesting storyline that could be. I mean, you have to have this a group. You have this group that, you know, hasn't been seen that much, or hasn't been taken seriously that much to be the first champions, and storyline wise, build around the fact that Paige still has Omega's number or the Bucks number. So, be interesting. So it's a toss-up, but I will go with the safe bet that everybody's going with, and that's the Elite to walk out with the World Trios Championships, even though they could. All right. Sorry about this. She always likes to tell me that, even though I can hear it. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna go with the safe bet and say the Elite, even though they could swerve us and put it on the Dark Order and Omega. So I'm going to go with the Elite. That's a safe bet. Then we have the World Heavyweight Championship match. That's the AEW World Championship match between Jon Moxley and CM Punk for the main event. This is going to be interesting because a lot of people are predicting Punk to do a heel turn, but why would you have him turn heel in Chicago? Or at least on the outskirts of Chicago. That doesn't make sense. That'd be like, you know, running back what WWE did in 2001 when they turned Austin heel in the state of Texas. Why would you do that? You don't have a Mr. McMahon character for Austin to align himself with. Thus, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Thus, I guess, earning the boos from his home state. You don't have a Mr. McMahon character for Punk to align him with, unless you have Tony Khan come out there and help Punk screw over Moxley, and then, you know, Tony Khan becomes the Mr. McMahon of AEW, and he basically becomes the new Mr. Worshipper. Like people compare Don Callis as the worshipper of Kenny Omega. Imagine Tony Khan now as the worshipper of CM Punk, saying, "Hail CM Punk, this is your company. I will do whatever you tell me to do." So, that's one thing they could do, and that would really get people in Chicago to boo Punk, because you're aligning yourself with a crazy man here. So, we'll see what they do, but honestly, it's a toss-up, because you could have Moxley keep the title, you could have him keep it, and then maybe that's how you turn Punk heel. Like, okay, I couldn't beat Moxley in Cleveland, I couldn't beat him in my hometown, how can I get my belt back? And maybe you have him aligned with somebody. I don't know. I mean, they brought out Ace Steel on Dynamite, and by the way, just personal note here, I've met Ace Steel, and one of the VHSs I have packed away is of his matches in IWA in Japan. Yeah, I have an Ace Steel in Japan VHS, autographed by him, tucked away. So yeah, you introduced Ace Steel. Could Ace Steel be that Mr. McMahon character? Maybe not as much power, but still, being an official and stuff, could he be the person that helps Punk? We don't know. So it's going to be interesting. It's a kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Punk. I am going to go with Punk, not just because I like Punk or anything, but because I want to see how they get him to turn heel if they try and attempt it in his hometown of Chicago. How they make it happen, who they have him aligned with, who helps him out. I'm going to go with Punk to win it. And I'll be surprised. You know what? I'll even say this. If it's not Ace Steel that helps him out, well, if it is Ace Steel, I also see Ace Steel being sort of like a distraction for the other person that can help Punk out, and that would be MJF. Because then him and Punk would have sort of an alignment, together of being against the system. But why would you have heels being against the system unless they're trying to ruin the system, ruin the company that's supposed to be for the fans? Who knows? But yeah, I'm going to go with Punk to win. And that's pretty much it for my AEW predictions. That's pretty much it for my AEW predictions. Again, I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston in his pre-show match against Ishii to win. Pac over Sabian. Hook over Angelo Parker. I'm going to go with Danielson over Jericho, no matter how they do that. I'm going to go with Toni Storm to be the interim women's champion. I'm going to go with the House of Black to win the trios match against Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. I'm going to go with Athena against Jade Cargill, because that then opens the door for Jade to go for the women's world title. I'm going to go with Jungle Boy over Christian Cage, because I have a feeling if they have Christian go over Jungle Boy, they're going to, storyline-wise, have Christian, basically announce that he put in a stipulation unbeknownst to Jack that he can't get a rematch ever again, period, because he already beat him. So I'm going to go with Jungle Boy there. I'm going to go with Wardlow and FTR over Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns because of some disagreements between Jay Lethal and his partners. I'm going to go with the TBA to be announced Joker of the Casino Ladder match, which I think is going to be W. Morrissey winning that. I'm going to go with Swerve and All Glory to retain their titles, even if they might have a little cracks of dissension, in the process of doing it. I'm going to go with Ricky Starks beating Powerhouse Hobbs, because I think he needs it more right now than Powerhouse. I'm going to go with the Elite, basically being the safe bet to be the first World Trios champions. But I would not be surprised if they pull out a surprise and give it to their opponents. In this case, maybe the Dark Order and Adam Page. And then I'm going to go with CM Punk regaining the AEW World Championship, either in a fair one-on-one match or in a situation where he turns heel, either with a surprise assist by Tony Khan, a surprise assist by Ace Steel, or a surprise assist by Ace Steel and MJF. That's what I see happening. So those are my predictions, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below, live chat during the premiere, like the video and everything. But let me know what your thoughts are. Who do you think will walk out winners this Sunday at AEW All Out 2022 in the outer regions of Chicago at the Now Arena? Let me know your thoughts. Live chat during the premiere. Super thanks will be open after the premiere, guys. Live chat, hopefully you guys have discussed this as well. Super chat, super stickers will be on during it. I will note that in the description for you guys. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below. Live chat during the premiere. Who do you think is going to win? And until then, I will talk to y'all later.